Your Sasstastic Life with hosts Trisha Rivas and Wendi Fredregill.
Hello to all of our sassy friends and welcome to Your Sasstastic Life. I don't know what just happened there with my voice.
That was awesome.
Probably because I was getting ready to sing. We are with Mr. Producer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. I am so excited for this, honestly. I actually sometimes forget to call you Jason, and because I'm so used to calling you Mr. Producer.
That's fair.
I know. So we want to learn about the man behind the cameras. Yes. Give us all the good juicy stuff.
Ooh, juicy. Yes. That's exciting.
I have to ask you first. So, Jason, when Wendi came home and told you that we were thinking about starting a podcast, what was your initial reaction?
Well, the thing about me is I have a very, I have a curse. My curse is that I am like 75% left brain, 25% right brain.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there thinking about all of the logistic stuff, but also like creative. What can we do? Oh, we can do this. Oh, we can do that. You know, I was excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, obviously I know Wendi, I've known you for a while too. And I just thought that the two of you would be great together, which you are.
Thank you.
So, that was going to take care of itself.
Yeah.
You know, it was just a matter of me being able to put it together in such a way that it would sound good, look good, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I think we're doing good.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your background, though, because there might be, I mean, Wendi and I talk a lot about it, but this is truly like your zone of genius. You love this.
I do.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, whenever I give like a bio, I always point out that I unusually started at age 14. Nobody starts at age 14 in radio, but I did.
Yeah.
I was, and I confirmed it with the FCC. I was literally the youngest FCC radio telephone operator licensed individual in the entire country to have a daily radio show.
Yeah.
At age 14. And that was kind of a strange thing because I was training with somebody and they didn't come in the second day of training, and the sponsor said, I want you to go in and do the show. I was like, what do you want me to do? I want you to go and do the show. I'm like, fuck, you know? So I went in and I did the show, and the show was mine from that point forward. Mm-hmm. And I had that show for several years, and then did work for local radio stations. Wound up going to Iowa State. I'd intended to go to film school, and Iowa State had a film school at the time, but they not sold everything. They moved everything to the University of Iowa when it was kind of too late to start over. So I went with a journalism mass communication degree, electronic media emphasis, and started to work in TV news after that. And after 3 or 4 years of that, moved to a position with the University of Nebraska as a multimedia producer and director, and had a 3-year stint with them before the old state budget cut.
Yep.
Sent us back here. You know, we had thought about LA and other places, but ultimately decided we were going to come back here and kind of regroup, right? Yeah. And the rest is history, because I wound up taking a job doing something I had never done before, grew into it, learned it, turned out I was pretty good at it, stuck with it as a good job for when the kids are being raised and it's stable and all of that bullshit. So, I mean, that's what I did, but the creative was still always there, and I was always kind of doing stuff, and I've been doing voice work from the beginning. So the voice work has never, you know, kind of gone away. I've always done stuff like that. So, in fact, I think it's like year 38 of doing some type of voice work now. So, I've been audio video for a while, and you're right. This kind of fell right into it. Hadn't done any podcasting before, but so far so good. Like I said, it's going really well.
Yeah. Well, I personally think, and I know Wendi would agree, you need to do some Audible books for Amazon.
Oh, yes.
And more smutty, the better.
Oh, yes. Bring it on.
That'll be for our After Dark series.
There you go.
Our After Dark series. So I have to ask you, how did you and Wendi meet? Because I love her version, and it goes back to your voice.
It does. It does. It's kind of funny. I mean, we had a mutual friend who happened to be Wendi's roommate at the time.
Yeah.
And I had called my mutual friend and had left a message on the answering machine remember the answering machines. So that's where it was left. And I even think it was like the Grinch,
Mm.
like from how
How
the
the Grinch
Grinch
Stole
Stole
Christmas.
Christmas.
Yeah.
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 You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. I mean, I think it was something like that. And so apparently,
Yeah.
my friend listened to it in the presence of Wendi,
Mm.
and she turned to Wendi and was like, "You totally have to meet. You will totally get married." What?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, that's bizarre.
Yeah.
So then Wendi made up a little fib about coming to see a cousin in Lincoln. And so she came over to Lincoln, and
Yeah.
we wound up having a really great first day. And
Mhm.
we threw some darts and watched a movie, and I thought she was amazing. And that was that.
Yeah. I love it. Well, she is pretty amazing, but so are you.
Well,
That's for sure.
that's nice. Thank you.
Okay, you do impersonations also.
I can. Yes.
Yes. What's your favorite one to do?
I don't know. The funny thing is, as my voice kind of changes a little bit as I
Yeah.
get older, some of them have a little bit of a, an alteration to them.
Oh, yeah.
Like accents are not as difficult
Yeah. Okay.
anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the people,
Yeah.
like the other day, I was doing my version of Harry Caray, and I didn't even sound like the way I used to do it to me in my ears.
Yeah.
So yeah, coming up to bat, you know. And I watched a lot of Harry Caray growing up
I know
because,
you did.
being in central Iowa, we were fucking stuck with WGN and the Cubs all the time. Mets fan trying to watch a Mets game. We get like 7 a year on WGN, which was bullshit. But I got to see a lot of Harry Caray. So, it was fun to watch him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Wendy's favorite accent that you do?
That also is for the After Dark series. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what her favorite accent would be, je ne suis pas français, start, speaking in other languages, which, good day, mate. Let's go down and have a shrimp on the barbie, whatever, something like that. She, we don't role play a lot with the voices, but maybe we should look into that.
I think you should start.
Yeah, I don't know what her favorite is. Honestly, Australian.
I think it is the Australian. I mean, I'm pretty sure she's told me that before.
Okay.
Not that we're talking about your guys' sex life. I'm just saying she likes to.
Okay. Awesome. I hope it's all good news.
Oh, it is. Yes. There are no hard conversations that we're having with them. No, we are having hard conversations.
I say, what are we talking about here? Hard conversations or hard conversations?
Hard conversations.
Yeah.
Yes. So being in a home with 4 women.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what that is like, because you had a brother, or you have a brother.
Yeah.
And so what has that been like, especially when everyone is on the same cycle?
Holy shit. Well, to back up, I mean, I did grow up with one sibling, my brother.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really know what it was like to grow up with a bunch of sisters or anything like that. I had friends who had sisters, but you know how it is when you're growing up, everybody's kind of like, be around.
Yeah.
I also had the benefit of growing up with an extremely strong role model with my mom.
Yeah.
So it's not like I didn't have something like that going on in my life.
Yeah.
But it was really different, when Marina was born. Of course, we didn't know. A lot of people find out, the sex of their baby before they're born. We didn't do that. And so Marina's born and it's like, oh my gosh, it's a girl. Next thought, oh shit. I don't know how to do this. I mean, you have the whole, I don't know how to be a parent like everybody has, right? But then there was, I don't know how to be a parent for a little girl.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have to figure that out.
Yeah.
At the same time, again, back to the role model. I mean, I had my mom showing me what it was like to be a good parent. She was on her own. It was tough as hell for us growing up. It really was.
Yeah.
But she was so strong and all of that. And I just kept pulling, from those memories of stuff with mom and consulted her a lot,
Yeah.
quite frankly.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I don't know what to do. Oh, it'll be fine, Jason. You'll be fine, you know.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be fine. And Savannah came along and it was like, wow, 2. What? Okay, let's see. How does that change the dynamic, you know? And then
Yeah.
Zoe, oh, wow, look at that. Okay, we're going to need like to hit Costco 3 times a week for tampons and all that kind of stuff because we're going to have so
Yeah.
much of that going on.
Yeah.
And again, being as my mom was so strong, it wasn't there. There were times when she was moody, but I never looked at it in that way. But living with 4 women at one time, 4 females at one time,
Yeah.
it can be a little interesting
Yeah.
for a dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely can. But at the same time, I love him. You know, I love him with every fiber of my being. So it's all good.
Yeah.
You know.
You have to tell the poop story.
Yeah.
I know. You have to tell it because it's so funny of how your reaction was and how Wendy's like, did you beat her ass?
See, when you say the poop story, I'm saying to myself,
oh yeah, this is true.
Poop story are we talking about?
And are we talking about Wendi or the girls?
Very good point. Hey, nice job. But I know which one you're talking about because it's a famous story.
It's my favorite.
Yeah. So I don't remember what age Marina was. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't remember where she was.
Last year. Marina, you know, I'm just kidding.
She was a wee one, and she was wearing a diaper, and you know she was alone playing in her room. You know, and I walked in, and there was poop all over the walls. And when I say all over the walls, anywhere she could reach, there was pretty much poop of some variety.
Yes.
She had her diaper in her hand like fucking Bob Ross, and she was doing this and finger painting shit all over the walls of her bedroom. And it was like, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, oh, what? How am I gonna, huh? And then there's that, oh, that looks pretty good. Oh, she's got a little bit of an artiste going on in here. Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
So I was like, I didn't want to just, you know, scream and yell at her. And you know, she's a little kid. And so I was like, okay, well, this is inappropriate. We're not going to do this
anymore. Did she have it wiped on her face too?
She did. She definitely was like, not full Braveheart, but she was like, she was on her way, you know, so it was definitely going to be clothes off in the bath.
Yeah.
And then dad in there going, how am I going to do this? We're going to have to, you know, put 10 coats of primer and then 10 coats of paint on these walls. It worked out. It was fine.
Yes.
But it makes for a funny story.
It does.
And she turned out to be, as all my girls have, turned out to be very artistic.
Oh,
so
they are just absolutely beautiful girls. They really, really are.
Well, that's Wendi. That's not.
Oh, no, it's both of you. But it's so fun to see your relationship with them. Even when we were at Zoe's recital and seeing her just come up to you and hug you and you get teary-eyed, it makes me want to cry right now, actually, because that's the relationship I have with my dad. And that's the relationship that Jeremy has with Marley.
Yeah.
And girls need their dads.
Oh, do they?
They do.
Yep.
Girls need their dads. And it's just, again, I just absolutely love seeing your relationship with them. And I love seeing the relationship with Wendi and the girls, but it's just different. It is. It's different.
Yeah. Years ago, Wendi got me a book and it was, you know, why a girl needs a dad.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was a fun book. It had some anecdotal type stuff in it, but then when you reread it, it's like, take it to heart, dude, because girls need their dad. Period.
Yeah.
End of discussion.
Yeah.
They do.
They do.
And all of the data shows that too.
Yes.
So for all of the things that we think of in society, they're going this way, and another way.
Yep.
Girls need their dads. And I think to a large degree, boys need their moms too.
Oh,
they
my
need to have
gosh,
that influence.
yes.
You know, people use the phrase today sometimes, you know, men need to be more feminine. Well, bullshit. Men need to be men.
Yes.
Okay. That's
Agreed,
it.
Jason.
Men need to be men.
Yes.
Okay. Being emotional, having compassion, those are not uniquely female traits.
No.
everybody can have
Mhm.
those things. You don't,
Yeah.
it's not a feminine trait to be emotional
Yeah.
and show your emotions and be compassionate.
Mhm.
That's perfectly okay for men to be
Yeah.
compassionate and show their
Yes.
emotions and so forth. And sometimes I have not done a great job of that.
Yeah.
But I think overall, maybe on the bell curve of men,
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah.
I definitely have showed a lot of emotion over the years, and
Mhm.
I've, Marina graduated from high school, and it was a huge moment,
Yeah.
and I was very emotional about that. And then we took her to college, and I think I cried the whole way home from taking her to college, and those types of things.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of that,
No,
you know.
you aren't.
I'm not afraid of that,
Mm-mm.
you know.
No, no. I think Wendy's, which I think this would surprise people, Wendy's more of the hard ass in those situations.
Yeah,
I mean, she is,
yeah,
you know?
she has been. She
Yes.
has been. And sometimes that's been a little bit of a problem with
Mhm.
us because, dad sometimes needs to,
Yep.
and there have
Mhm.
been times when I have, but a lot of times
Yeah.
I've just handled it differently.
I
I've
know.
waited a day, pulled him aside and said,
Yeah.
"Hey, by the way, what happened yesterday was bullshit. Don't do that
Mm.
again." In my way of
Yeah.
doing it, right?
Yeah.
But in the moment, sometimes I haven't done a great job of that. And it's been
Yeah.
hard, I think mainly because they were girls.
Yeah.
I think if they were boys, it might have been a little bit different just because I'm a dad and I would have been like, you know, and
Mhm.
so that's the thing too, is that when boys are being raised, they're being raised, a certain way, and generationally,
Yeah.
there's some things there too. So guys in my generation, we were raised kind of a certain way,
Sure.
right? And
Yeah.
so that's
Oh, yeah.
what we know. And
Yeah.
sometimes it takes a little bit of almost reprogramming to kind of
Yes.
learn some other things,
Yes.
right? So I don't know. I feel like overall,
Mhm.
I've done a pretty damn good job. So
Yeah.
I feel good about it.
Yeah.
But I've had an absolutely fucking amazing co pilot too.
Yeah. You have. You guys are a great team. With that said, as I literally was just thinking in my mind, Jeremy coaches girls softball.
Yeah.
You have coached the girls in soccer,
Oh, yeah.
correct?
Oh, yes.
What was that like? Not only having to coach and care for your girls, but then other girls, other females. What is that like? Because everybody has different parenting styles.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
can be challenging. If anything, that's sometimes Jeremy's biggest challenge.
Yeah. And I would agree with that.
Mhm.
I coached youth recreational soccer for 15 years.
Yep.
A lot of times it was 2 teams in the spring, 2 teams in the fall, a lot of kids.
Yeah.
And it was not, I didn't coach co-ed until the last 3 or 4 years. So most
Okay.
of it was girls
Yeah.
only soccer. So
Yeah.
a lot of young girls coming through the soccer program, which is great.
Mhm. Mhm.
There were the girls that would much rather spend all of their time doing cartwheels and picking
Yeah.
flowers and things on the sideline. And then there were the girls that you could tell the parents were like, "You're going to get out there and you're going to score some fucking goals," And we even had a couple of instances
Yeah.
where kids were being paid by their parents to score goals, and I had to put that in my preseason manifesto every year. I was like,
Mhm.
"Look, if you want to give your kid some type of cash
Yeah.
for play, then make it for their overall play.
Yeah.
If they make a good pass or
Mhm.
whatever, because soccer's about passing as much as it is
Mhm.
about scoring. So,
Yeah.
if you want to do that, fine, reward them that way. That's your business. But
Yeah.
make it for the overall, not for scoring goals, because
Yeah.
they won't learn any teamwork that way.
Yep.
And for the first several seasons, the kids are kind of squirrely and they're just like, whatever. But then you get a couple of those girls that
Yeah.
you can tell they have been told by their
Mhm.
parents, you're going to go out there and you're going to score goals, and it doesn't matter what everybody else is doing. And you
Yeah.
have to undo that.
Yes.
You have to get them to
Yes.
understand that they have to be a cohesive unit out
Yep.
there. And so we would do a lot of just past, even when you had a dynamic with kids
Mhm.
that didn't get along with each other, I'd put them together and I'd say,
Oh.
you work on your passing,
Yeah.
because you're going to have to pass to this teammate at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Right. So work on it,
Mhm.
like get over your bullshit and work on your interpersonal with that person as well.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know how different I could say it really is, because by the time I was coaching co-ed, um, the guys, once they get to that level,
Mhm.
the difference between boys and girls in soccer is it's very, very different
I'm
once we
sure.
get to that level.
Yeah.
So I would say that the girls that I coached at that level
Mhm.
handled it pretty well.
Yeah.
And by that time they had pretty good passing skills and
Yeah.
things like that. So
Yeah.
as far as that's the coach, and that's the
Mhm.
logistical aspect of it. But the emotional aspect of it, boys and girls react completely different to things
Oh,
sometimes
yes.
on the field and on
Yes.
the sidelines. And, the guys are, they're wanting to swear and jump up and down, and the girls are just going, it's just a different reaction.
It is.
you know
Yeah.
but it was an absolute joy
Yeah.
coaching all of my kids
Yeah.
in soccer, and all of those other kids too.
Mhm.
It was just a really rewarding experience. I would encourage
Yeah.
anybody
Yeah.
to coach youth recreational sports of some kind.
And the girls will remember that forever.
Yeah.
Your girls, and then the girls and boys that you coached.
Yeah, and that's the fun thing. Every once in a while, I'll be rolling through Hy-Vee or
Yes.
something, and I'll see somebody and they'll be like,
Yeah.
"Coach, how you doing?" And it's like, "Oh
Yes.
yeah,"
Mhm.
So that's cool.
I love that. I, as you were talking, I had a memory pop up when we were playing basketball, and I had two amazing male coaches in junior high, and uh, absolutely amazing. But one of the girls was on her period. Okay. And I have to share this because it's just funny how we
Yeah.
react different. And she looks at Coach Potts and she's like, "Coach, I can't run today. I'm on my period." And he literally looked at her. And I swear to God, he must have turned 15 shades of red. And he's just like, "Okay, just you go sit down then. You go sit down." Because then she was telling him all about her cramps. And I mean, and he,
Oh yeah.
you could just tell.
Sure.
He was like, "Please just stop. Please just stop."
Yeah, we had kind of I would call it a running joke in our household, even
Yeah.
though it's not necessarily a joke, funny, haha,
Yeah.
joke. But at some point when the tampon, started to
Oh,
come
yeah.
along,
Yeah.
right? I was like finding them all over the place.
Oh, gosh. Yes. Yes.
They were
Yes.
all
Yes.
out in
Yes.
all of these public spaces.
Mhm.
And I'm like, nah, come on, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Yeah.
"Do you have a problem with that?" Or you like, and I'm like, I'm not uncomfortable with it. I'm just saying we don't need to have it next to the toaster. Let's keep them in the bathroom. That's all right. Keep them in the linen
Next to the
closet.
toaster.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, we don't need to have them all over the
Oh
place.
gosh, yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Oh yeah.
I was never really uncomfortable with that
No,
aspect of it.
no. Marley will send Jeremy pictures of the tampons that she needs
Mhm.
and that he needs to pick up while he's at IV.
It's a funny thing. There's been a couple of comedy shows or TV shows where it's been like the dad's going through and he has to buy them, and he's got the flick on him, so he's flicking them. I fucking did that at least 5 times. It
Exactly.
was not a big deal.
No.
Come on,
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
That's not a big deal.
It's not. But it's again, it just always makes me laugh. Um, because you and Jeremy are very similar in ways of just how you care for the women in your life.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And I have so much appreciation for that. I really do. And like I said, when the first time she sent him pictures of the tampons, he was just like, "Babe, do you think maybe you could pick those up?" I'm like, "No, I'm working late. I'm sorry. You're going to have to pick them
Yeah,
up." He's like,
yeah.
"Okay."
Mm-hmm.
So, Miss Zoe is your last one.
Yeah.
At home.
Yep, she is.
What are your guys' hopes and dreams to do after she flies the nest? What are you guys going to do?
Probably some of that depends a little bit, at least, on where she goes.
Mm-hmm.
Marina having graduated college and moving on with her life, we're not sure where she'll wind up eventually, of course. But Savannah's still in college and she's quite a distance away.
Mm-hmm.
Zoe may wind up down the street, or she may wind up 5 states away. We don't know. So I would say, in a general sense, we'll probably gauge a little bit on where she goes as to how things kind of play out for us. But at the same time, Wendi and I have some definitive plans to take the podcasting on the road and add some blogging to that. And there's talks of a book here and there, and I've got other things in the fire right now that are still developing. So we definitely are not going to sit around on our haunches.
No.
After our last little bird is out of the nest. That's for sure.
Yeah.
We're going to be busy, but it'll be different kind of busy.
Yeah.
Sometimes with the kids' schedules, it feels more like the general rat race.
Yes.
Right? You're going from here to here to here to here. We know that it's going to slow down.
Yeah.
to a large degree it already has, with just one left
Mhm.
under our roof. But once Zoe graduates, it's going to be a big shift.
Yeah. I am so excited for you guys, though. Just knowing what some of your plans are, some of your dreams, all of this, I know that you guys will do. I
Yeah.
really do. And
Yeah.
it is going to be absolutely so exciting. So tell us a little bit about Apex.
Sure. So Apex as a name, I took to mean like the pinnacle
Mhm.
or the apex predator. Great white shark's always been kind of a cool thing for me, right? So
Yeah.
shark fin is the logo, and
Mhm.
the pinnacle of the mountain, the apex of the mountain, they
Yeah.
kind of look the same. That's where the logo came from, and
Yeah.
so apex being at the top, right? So you want something that kind of says, "Hey, I'm at the top of my game," that kind of
Yep.
thing. So that's where the name came from. But Apex VO, which originally was just me doing my voice work for
Mhm.
clients, is expanding into Apex Creative, and that's going to include the podcasting, and it's going to include anything creative that comes out of my brain.
Yeah.
So that's very exciting.
It is so exciting,
Yeah.
Jason. So exciting. What are some words of wisdom? Because again, you always have so much words of wisdom. And I truly mean that. I love you are just a wealth of knowledge in so many different things. And that is so what I appreciate about you.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
what do we want to end with? Some words of wisdom on this beautiful Saturday morning. Maybe for some people that like are lost or, maybe in a dark spot, or what are some good words of wisdom to give them some hope?
Trisha, I can go in a million different directions with that.
Yeah.
I would say one of the things that comes to mind right away is the just simple phrase:
Mm.
you can't fake genuine.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who are fake.
Mhm.
They're fake in your life, one way or another, at work or whatever. They're not real,
Yeah.
and you don't get anything out of
Mhm.
that. You need genuine people
Yeah.
in your life. And sometimes genuine can be tough,
Yeah.
right? Um, because, giving you just the facts and here's how it
Yeah.
is sometimes is not easy.
Mm.
But, I think that genuine is the way to go, and everybody should strive for that. So that's why you can't fake genuine is a phrase that I think originally might have been like somewhere along the line. It was like a beer company motto or something, but
Yeah.
I just kind of adopted it. Um, we hear a lot in the modern vernacular about being your authentic self.
Mhm.
Okay. And so I would encourage anybody who's not doing that to
Yeah.
just take some time and think about what that really means to you, and then start living it.
Yeah.
And if you have some barrier to that,
Mhm.
you don't need to just dive into the deep end right away, but
Yeah.
start thinking about that.
Yeah.
Who are you and what do you want to do? What do you want to be? Who do you want to be around?
Mhm.
Um, because again, with the phoniness, there's so much of it, and
Mm.
we need to find a way to be around people that bring us up and move us
Yeah.
forward and things like that, and not people who pull us down into the fucking quicksand,
Yeah.
because it's totally unhealthy.
Yeah. Well, and you have humor. I mean,
Right.
Wendi is one of the most funniest people I know.
She
And
is.
literally, who can come out and talk about their dingleberry?
Yeah.
That
Yeah. Yeah.
just openly to us, and we're laughing our asses off, and
Exactly.
I'm about peeing my pants, and you're turning red, and
Yeah. At some point, you hear the phrase, right? As you're living your life, you hear, "Don't take yourself so seriously,"
yes,
and it's like, really, don't.
no,
There's like a live, laugh, love, or
yeah,
live, pray, love, or any
yeah,
of those things. And it's like, laugh needs to be in there
gosh,
all the time.
yes, yes,
Yeah, you got to
yes,
have the humor,
yes,
and you have the thick enough skin,
yep,
but also be able to take some of the ribbing,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we've had a lot of great laughs
oh yeah,
in our life
yeah,
together to this point.
yeah.
So yeah.
I'm going to put you on the spot, though.
Okay, I can take it.
What is one thing that irritates you about Wendi?
Oh, irritates me.
None? Maybe like,
No, I'm shaking my head
oh,
because you're
okay.
gonna fucking get me in trouble here. I'm trying to figure out where I'm gonna run and hide when this is over. I'm
You
just
don't to answer.
I'm just
I
kidding.
was totally
Oh,
kidding.
I'll answer. Yeah, remember, we talk about the hard shit.
I know we do. Yes,
So,
we do.
Here's the thing. I think people get married
Yeah.
and there's the Disney fairy tale idea, right?
Yeah.
Everything's going to be perfect from that point forward. We don't have to do a fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen. It's all good,
Yeah.
Marriages work.
Mm.
Marriage takes effort.
Yeah.
It takes effort.
Mhm.
You cannot take each other for granted.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of times that's what happens, particularly when you're raising kids and the focus is all on the kids.
Oh my gosh,
And that's a
yes.
natural thing.
Yeah.
Right. But, I would encourage people who are starting their families,
Mhm.
bear that in mind.
Yeah.
Learn from your elders.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And date each other.
Oh, exactly,
while you are
Jason.
raising children. Don't blow that shit off.
No.
You got together for a reason.
Mhm.
You love that person.
Yes.
Go out and spend time with that person. Find the sitter.
Yep.
And make it happen.
Yeah.
And do that all the way through as you're raising your kids. Don't blow that off.
Deflecting.
The peanut gallery says I'm deflecting. No, I'm just bringing up a fucking point. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
What was your question again?
No, I'm happy that you brought that up because my girlfriend and I will talk a lot about that. In our home, it's God, Jeremy and I, and then our kids.
Yeah.
And I talk openly about that because when our kids are gone, I still want us to like each other.
Yeah.
I still want us to be dating. I still want us to have fun together and be able to talk. And that's not selfish.
No, it's critical.
It is.
It's critical.
Yes, it is. And a lot of people forget that.
They do.
They do. And then divorce happens after their children leave, or they're so unhappy in their marriage that, they might go out on each other. There's no communication. Yeah. And it makes me so sad.
Yeah. Some
so
pretty
sad.
startling statistics. Divorce is still at a 50% rate. And affairs, men, just over 50%. That's all men married under the age of 65.
Yeah.
Just slightly over 50% will have an affair.
Yeah.
Women, 47%.
Yes.
I mean, come on. What the fuck? Don't take your spouse for granted.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
In fairness, to answer your question, with the core values, there aren't any major things that are that frustrating with Wendi. It would be stupid shit.
Yes.
Like
yes.
not
Exactly.
clearing your plates from the table or
leaving your tampon by the
stuff like that. I mean, it's stuff that doesn't matter. It's like you see that and you're like,
leaving your pubic hair in the bathtub and not washing it down the drain.
Well, everybody does that, right? Well, I don't know. No. Okay. All right. I'm just fucking around.
Can we
but,
clarify that the tampons are in the wrapper? These are not used tampons.
Most of the time. Most of the time.
Oh shit!
I joke about that, but that's just one of those.
Fantastic.
It's just one of those. It's just one of those funny things.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, there are things that Wendi and I do still have room for growth on.
Oh my gosh,
everybody does, right?
Yes.
So there's that. But the little things, I've always said, and I've said this to her, right?
Yeah.
I'm not a throw the baby out with the bathwater person, right? Because the big picture is always present in my brain.
Yep, it is.
The little shit doesn't really matter. The shit that you get over after an hour or a day.
Yeah.
Fucking move on, right? But Wendi's a joy. I mean, I don't have to tell you that.
Yeah.
She's awesome. I love her with all my heart, and she puts up with the little tertiary bullshit that I do too.
Yeah.
So that's where you just you have the core stuff, and sometimes the rest of it just kind of falls into place.
Mr. Producer,
ma'am,
what would you tell your 18-year-old self?
I think maybe the most important thing I would tell my 18-year-old self is that sometimes the path that you're on breaks off and you have choices, and it's okay, if you go this way, that way, as long as you're true to yourself, you'll be all right. Yeah. When I was in high school, there was a point where I thought about, I want to do this or I want to do that. But ultimately, I always wanted to be in the kind of creative creative space. And, because of circumstances, I didn't go very far away for college the way that I had planned to go very far away for college. And I think a lot about what we kind of refer to as the butterfly effect,
Mm-hmm.
right? At the same time, whereas Wendy's kind of sometimes more of a little bit more fatist than I am.
Yeah.
The way that she would describe that is not fatist. She would say God's plan.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So if we look at it through those eyes, Wendi has said, you probably came through my cash register when I was working at Hy-Vee,
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yes.
So my personal opinion is that no matter what happened, Wendi and I would have come together eventually.
Yeah.
So being worried about taking that path and going this way or that way, in retrospect, it'll work out fine. Be true to yourself, be genuine, you'll be all right. I would probably say that. I might also say too, when you have the opportunity to purchase Pixar stock, do it.
Yes.
Because some of us had that opportunity and didn't do that. That's kind of it's kind of a joke, but I don't know. There's a lot of things I would tell my 18-year-old self, right? I mean, there's a lot of things.
Yeah.
Don't sweat the small stuff, right? That would be a big one, right? That would be a big one. Appreciate the people that you love.
Yeah.
And don't let a lot of time pass between when you're telling them that you love them. My kids probably got tired of me telling them how proud I was of them and how much I loved them. I don't give a shit.
No.
I'm going to tell them that all the time.
Exactly.
When my time comes, they're never going to doubt that their dad loved them. Period.
No, they are not.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I love that. Wise words from the Yoda.
Yeah, well, as the ears continue to grow with age, they fucking start looking a little more like Yoda's ears.
We just won't let any hair grow out of them.
I hate to tell you this, Trisha, but we're already there.
Well, I know, but like really bad.
Is there like something you can do at the salon to get rid of the hair in the ears?
We could do some.
We need to
some
talk
wax.
about that.
Some wax.
We need to talk about that because it's already it's at
I know
it's at threat level midnight. So yeah, we need to talk about the ear hair.
The ear hair. I love it. So all in all, as like what you said from the very beginning, be your authentic self. I love it.
Yeah.
Wise words.
Yeah. Why do you want to be somebody else?
Yeah, exactly.
Why do you want to be like somebody else?
Yeah. I wanted to talk a little bit more about the book though, too. Tell me about your book.
Yeah. The book is called The Robin and the Rainbow.
Yeah.
And it's based off of the epic poem, if you will. By definition, it's an epic poem because it's very, very long. I had written it for my grandmother.
Yeah.
And I had it printed out on this giant sheet and framed in a really nice frame and sent to her when she was living in a retirement apartment. And I think at first she didn't know what to make of it. And then the next time I went to visit her, I could tell that it had meaning to her. My Uncle Jim had mounted it on her wall so she could see it. And she started to kind of really understand that really what it was about was her. It was about her.
Yeah.
And she even at one point, I don't remember if she turned to my brother or my mom, but she said, I'm the Robin.
Oh.
And that was a cool moment for me. That was
Yeah.
So I always wanted to do more with that poem.
Yes.
And one day I just kind of sat down and started doodling stuff.
Yeah.
And came up with the main bird, the robin, and then just worked at it from there. And I am not an illustrator. I am not some super, drawing expert or anything, but they're just fun characters.
Yeah.
And so I put the book together through one of the companies that allows you to print almost like a photo book.
Yes.
Yep. And handed one out, to my mom and when my oldest two graduated from high school, I gave them to them. I'll give one to Zoe.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking, probably this could be information and a story that would be good for the general public.
Yes.
So now we're working on getting the Robin and the Rainbow out into the general public.
Yeah.
And probably about a year ago, I started working on a sequel to that.
Okay.
And that's called The Turtle in the Treehouse.
Yeah.
So working on that one now too.
Oh, I love that, Jason. Do you think you'll do anything in honor of your mom?
Yeah, see, the turtle in the treehouse, I think probably will wind up being that
Okay.
because my grandmother associated with the robin. She was a
Mhm.
farm girl, and
Yeah.
it was really about a robin on a farm,
Yeah.
and, so forth.
Yeah.
Um, and my mom was all about turtles,
Mhm.
so it'll wind up being that.
Yeah.
I would also say that not that it has anything to do with the books, but we are doing a scholarship for the seniors this year at the high
Yes.
school. There'll be 2 of them actually for
Oh,
people who have been involved in fine arts in her name
yeah.
because she attended everything.
Yeah.
Going back to when my brother and I were in school and we were on stage,
Yeah.
she didn't miss anything. She
No.
was there all the time.
Yeah.
And she, aside of a couple there at the end where she just was not up to it physically,
Yeah.
she was at all of the girls' stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, my kids, my wife meant everything to my mom.
Yeah.
She loved my girls, loved my wife.
Yeah.
So I think that's one way to honor her.
Oh
But
my gosh, yes.
the truth is, Trisha,
Yeah.
I'm hardly a perfect human being, but I feel like in all of the best ways,
Yeah.
I already honor her
Yeah.
with the way that I live my
Yep.
life.
Exactly.
Because she taught me
Mhm.
how to be.
Yeah. I love that. So before we end, I have to ask, are you Yoda or Darth Vader?
Oh, if you asked Wendi and the girls, they might tell you that Darth Vader finds a way to come out at some point here or there,
Yeah.
But I would say that overall, probably I'm Yoda.
Mhm.
For better or worse, usually if I'm asked,
Yeah.
but I've I've lived an interesting life.
Yeah.
Have a lot of knowledge and stuff to share with my kids and whatnot. So that's what
Mhm.
I've done. So I would say that sounds more like Yoda
Yeah.
rather than the, you know, ominous presence
Yeah.
of Darth Vader. More like, I have something to share with you. So
I was hoping you would impersonate him.
well, yeah, I think I'm probably more of a Yoda than a Darth Vader
I would agree.
for sure.
I would agree. Probably the same for me, depending on the day.
Yeah.
And depending on my hot flashes.
Yeah. Yeah. Hot flashes can probably, they can bring out the Darth Vader in anybody, I would imagine, Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for being you. And thank you for making Wendi and I look absolutely amazing and sound amazing.
Well, let's be honest. That's not that difficult.
Oh,
You have a couple of beautiful women to put in front of the camera, I'm not some professional lighting cinematographer from, Titanic or Dances with Wolves or something. But,
yeah.
it's not difficult to make you two
Yeah.
look good because
That's so
you're
kind.
beautiful women inside and out.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, we absolutely adore and love you, Mr. Producer. And I truly mean that.
Thank you. Right back at you.
We hope you have a great rest of the day. Bye.
Your Sasstastic Life is produced by Apex VO. Go to apexvo.com. That's APEXXVO.